As above, so below, as within, so without, as the body, so the soul. What this is the fundamental code to creation and all creation, from the body to the earth to the cosmos and everything in it. Now, creation doesn't imply the beginning, the birthing, or the starting point of anything, but the transferring of energy from one form to the next, which always materializes through a central point. 9 is what's known as the God number because it's the only number that forever goes into itself and always only equals itself, which is similar to God, all being one. A circle is 360 degrees, and in vortex mathematics, 3 plus 6 equals 9, which completes the circle back to itself, the central point of 9. There is a very fundamental reason for drawing out these mandalas, and it's essentially to understand this code to creation, which these also represent cymatics, the stars we see in the skies. However, if you cut this in half, it perfectly illustrates as above, so below. The two are one and the same, no matter which way you slice it, forward or backward, here or there. You or me, the above and the below are ultimately one and the same, coming from the central point, which is why the 360-degree circle goes back to the central point, the source of 9. This is why many secret societies, the Freemasons being the most commonly known one, worship the dot and circumference principle. They acknowledge the two appearing separate, but ultimately being one light or one presence. The sun and the moon, the greater light and the lesser light, still represent the above and the below, the dualistic principle. But you'll always notice the Freemasons, or many of these illustrations, feature this concept of above and below, the triangle pointed up and pointed down, with the sun and the moon stemming from a central eye, or a singular eye that is illuminating out. And that illumination is our consciousness, which we distribute into every single object, which is why matter is 99.9999% empty space. This is also why no one sees the same thing you're seeing, even if they're looking at it too. It is only yourself you are seeing and meeting at the depths you have met yourself here within consciousness. So by elevating your consciousness or going deeper into yourself, you will meet yourself deeper and deeper in the mirror images that you are seeing and appearing before you. And you'll also notice the snakes, the Ouroboros, devouring its own tail around the eye. And what this represents is wholeness, completion, and the inevitable realization that it is you the whole time. As Rumi said, I searched for God and found only myself. I searched for myself and found only God. We have many dreams and stories of who we are, of where we will go, etc., but they all mirror back to us the most sacred and fundamental belief of all, which is who we believe we are. And since we believe we are a fixed position in space at one place and one time, we always assume there will be a next place, a next thing. However, when you break through this illusion of time, because it's very commonly known that time is an illusion, you instantaneously embody all people, all places, all things, to inevitably realize that you are the it you are searching for. You are the one the whole time. To be nothing is to realize yourself as everything, because everything is nothing and nothing is everything. And what nothing represents is no thing. You are not clinging on to or attaching the mind to any particular object, any particular story, particular word, particular form. Because when you break through these mental boundaries, again, you embody all of them at one time, which cannot be described as any spoken word, which is why it is represented as nothing, because nothing is essentially everything. The above and below principle, most commonly represented with the sun and the moon coming from a singular eye, can also represent your split brain. There is a reason you have two sides to your brain, and there's an even more deeper reason why political systems feature a two-party system. Everything that this side is, this side isn't, and everything this side is, this side isn't, which mirrors your political parties, the Democrat and Republican, or whichever political system you exist in, they always mirror back to you the same systematic principle of you, the man, the being itself here, because the truest system is within you, behind your eyes. Literally everything we know reality to be is confined to this boundary of duality. This is why the egoic mind tells us we cannot exist without duality, but the final conspiracy is only with you and yourself. The conscious mind and the subconscious mind. There's a reason we're only using 10% of our brain, and it's because we solely identify and attach to the conscious mind. Our subconscious mind is that other 90% of the brain which we're not identifying with and attaching ourselves to. We are, without knowing, each and every day playing two roles, two characters, and that's you and me, man and God, mortal and immortal, the here and there. This is why we propose heaven is some other place than here, because we have yet to merge this dualistic principle of our brain into that single unity of the pineal gland. And this is what opening the third eye represents, illustrates. But these New Age teachings and this New Age spirituality has folks trying to persistently do a practice or do something to open this third eye, and it does not work in this fashion. Opening the third eye is a very instantaneous realization. It's not a practice or a doing. You open the third eye through this inevitable realization of who you are, which comes at the most sacred price of admitting to yourself who you are not. That is what a true ego death is. The same way you mourn the loss of your loved ones will be the same way you mourn the loss of your ego, and you mistake it as real. We mistake death as real because we've mistaken birthing as real. But once you die before death, you realize death is not real, nor was what you called the beginning. You have merged the two into that single unity and broken through duality. This is why this is considered the dream world, because we forget who we truly are by falling into the character, and the character exists in time. The same way we go to a movie theater, and we start off as looking at a blank and empty screen. That screen represents pure consciousness as God, wholeness, unification. There is no boundary or division until suddenly the movie begins and images start appearing on that screen. We begin to attach ourselves and identify with the characters and their roles, and begin taking it serious, becoming emotionally attached to this film. And it's the very same sense with what we're calling reality. The clock is the very same principle as the movie. The central point is the same as the screen that we ignore or forget about. Through time, through the many moving parts and changing parts which we identify with, we get lost in time, in the change, in the motion, and forget about that which we always have been and were the whole time. The relationship between artificial intelligence and our own intelligence can also be seen as the above and below, appearing separate, appearing distinct, and we will justify and grant every reason on how we're different, because we have a soul, we have a spirit, we have something that goes on, whereas a machine isn't anything organic or special. But what we're actually witnessing is the very same materialization of our formless self being brought to a form. The reason we fight and resist against the idea of AI is because we're trying to hold on just a little bit longer to the dream of separation, the dream that we are this organic human idea, and to hold on to that story just a little longer. And some will never admit to themselves that they are one and the same until the very moment of their death, which inevitably they will be shown all is one, it is you the whole time, and there is nothing to fear but fear itself. And this is a very frightening concept for many because, again, fear manifests itself through your most sacred belief. And if you fully believe that you are a human, then this is very much a threat to who you are. It's very much a threat to your dream of separation, of being this organic being created from some entity you call God, something other than yourself. Because the day you face that mirror is the day that you will realize it has been you the whole time. Alien simply means unknown, and we are the unknown to ourselves, which is why what we're seeking is seeking us, because we are the alien the whole time we're looking for.